Hello, and welcome back to our German 1890 campaign, Blood and Iron. It's been a couple days since I've recorded. I've been a little bit busy, but today's episode is the last one that I have pre-recorded. So I have to buckle down today and do a couple of episodes that'll get me partially through the weekend. So we're close to war with France, and they are on their own. And we have the advantage over them in pretty much everything except for CVLs. Uh, they have heavy cruisers. We don't. We scrapped ours. It was just too expensive to maintain, and I think it was the Freya class. We just couldn't find a way to viably upgrade them. But we have them massively outnumbered in terms of submarines. About even on destroyers. But even on light cruisers, they have the advantage in light carriers. We have the advantage in fleet carriers, and then we have a couple of battle cruisers that, they just kind of hang around and do their thing. I wouldn't say they're particularly effective or anything. But let's take a look at our ships under construction. We have nothing under construction. We're still at a budget deficit right now. So let's start pressing the button because we may go to war with France. We want to get an early start on that if so. Take a look at the relations. France goes up due to historic enmity, and then it goes down because they're not as strong as us and they don't want war. Then we get tensions going down all around due to the recent war. And our budget goes even more into the red. Let's get some budget by, let's choose Russia. They're always a fun little target to pick on. So here's our new jet attack prototypes. Um, the speed increases a nice amount, looks like. The range decreases. And the stats go up. So we're going to go with this one here maybe. Because we do stay closest to our current range with this one. And we get to carry 2 heavy air-to-surface missiles now. So I guess that explains the lower range. So we're going to go with that one. Tension with France is still up. Ooh, and we get back into the good budget. I think it was the submarines that did it for us there. I did notice that we need more corvettes. We only have, I think, 16, and that is not enough, even though these are the Hamburg Express. They are good, but we need more of them. There we go. Let's build like 8 more. Let's go take up most of the budget. And we're going to let the excess budget ride for a little bit here. We need to build up a little bit of a treasury, just in case we get into a war with France, and then the war ends, and then we're going to be back into the red again. So this is the Russian battle cruiser we keep seeing. We've seen that a couple times now. And we could go to war with France at any time here with this tension. It just takes one event or the French just not liking us for whatever reason. Here's the Valley Forge class, 128. I think we've seen this one as well. This is a big boy aircraft carrier. I hope everyone's doing well. Enjoying the wild weather we've been having here in the United States if you're from the US. Let's see, our Danzigs are obsolete. Feels like we just went through and updated all that stuff, but I guess not. Well, it's going to have to wait a few months. They are our foreign station ships, and there's tension with France going up still. They are foreign station for the most part, so being obsolete isn't the worst thing in the world. All right, we lost Japan as a friend. Goodbye, below average captain. And yeah, we could be at war with France just any minute here. Okay. Tension with France is reduced because they don't want war with us, but it's still up there. It's still in the danger zone. Another budget event would be pretty sweet. Let's send them a note saying, hey, let's be cool. They ignored it. Okay. Let's get some budget. This will probably cause tension with France to go back up. But this is one of the ones where we're selling arms, but we're not risking a leak, so we will take that. There goes France again. And it's one of those ones where I think you get the base resources rather than a budget modifier. So our balance is going up. So let's see if we can rebuild a couple of these Danzigs. Let's just see what we can do with them. They're 9,400 tons, so that's pretty good. There's some places we can go with them. But what we might end up doing is, you know, it's a nice little ship. Like it's already got a helipad on it. It's got SSMs. It's got some torpedoes, which aren't fantastic in this era. Is there anything else we could do with it? Nope. Let's just do like it'll be a 10-month just to overhaul the engines essentially. There you go. We could conceivably have these done in time for a war with France, even if a war started in the next couple months. Yes, we'll take the offer to build another Hamburg Express, please. Let's send out some of our old ships. Will cost us a prestige, but boost our budget up. Oh, look at that. That is delicious. All right, let's build some more Hamburg Express. We'll build, let's see, we had 16, we built 8 plus 1. So that's 25. So we'll build another 4. There we go. That also keeps us under budget. So let's go ahead and rebuild another Danzig while we're at it. We can afford it. Just slowly get these Danzigs, the engines fixed on them at least. Let's see here. What are our options? We could gain prestige, but it gains attention, which is probably worth France immediately. So we'll appear reasonable, but we don't agree to anything. So here's a light jet fighter. The range goes down, the speed goes up a little bit. The stats go down. So why would we want that? So we get lower stats. Just make sure I'm not missing anything here. And we already have average reliability on the other ones, so we're going to say no. And we're also kind of just waiting for things to kick off with France. It'd be really cool if it could wait 8 months to get these Hamburg Express involved. I don't want to have to put a bunch of my destroyers on trade protection, but I mean, I will if I have to. I mean, I guess they really don't want war with us. Okay, all these stats on aircraft are too much for me to try to keep track of, and I don't know how. Honestly, I don't know how relevant it is anyway. Like, what's the difference between a light jet fighter that has, 15 firepower versus one that has 13? Like, you think the one with 15 would win, but like, how does their top speed affect it? Like, how does the tough, like, if there's a toughness difference between them, like, what does that do? It seems like a sort of an arcane sort of calculation going on. Our Europas are going to need modernized as well. A few more months and these Hamburg Express will be done. Yep, goes down due to the recent war. Our budget's up there. Tension with France reduced because of common concerns over U.S. expansionism. And it goes up with the U.S. due to different governments. So it looks like we're kind of falling back away from potential war with France, which is kind of a shame. I wouldn't mind going to war with them. Um, well, let's get devil tension with someone non-threatening like Britain in exchange for some budget. Look at that. That's a lot of budget. Okay. Very cool. So this is about all the Hamburg Express we want. Um, while we have a minute here, a potential gap between war with anybody, let's go ahead and modernize the Europas because they are built in 1962. It's currently 1975. So let's replace the machinery. That's probably all we're going to do. We have 152 extra tons left over, and not a whole lot we really want to do with it. Yeah, let's just do the engines, make it a 1-year refit. It won't be too expensive, but it will max out our monthly balance. But I'd like to get those done now before they start going obsolete and the engines start dying out. Chance to get more budget. Who can we pick on? Let's say Russia again. Okay, very cool. Get a little bit of tension, get a little bit of budget, and let's do the Europas. It's risky to have them all in refit, but it feels like we can probably squeeze a year out of this before a war. Okay. It's kind of weird that everyone else keeps getting technologies, but like once you hit like 1970, like you don't get any more. Feels a little bit unfair, but what are you going to do? This is a chance to potentially modernize some of these destroyers at the same time as we're modernizing the Danzigs. Let's go ahead and rebuild a couple more of these. Yep. And we have some extra budget, so let's see what we can do with their destroyers. So we replace the machinery. We can give them towed sonar, which is cool. Increases the ASW by 2. And that's an 8-month refit. What if we replace? Yeah, we replace machinery. Already did that. Could do a better fire control. Okay. I mean, for an 8-month refit, that's pretty good. We get a better fire control. We get improved ASW, and we fix the engines. Yes, we'll do that. Don't mind if we do. Rebuild 6 of those. In fact, we'll rebuild like 4 more while we're at it. These will be done right around the time our carriers are finished. Um, we don't care about the situation between Austria, Hungary, and Italy. They're going to go to war again. This will be like their third war or fourth war. I don't know. All right, we finished a couple of Danzigs, so we'll rebuild some more. There we go, and we'll put two of them back onto foreign station, so we don't take a prestige hit. We are down. I say down to 40. It's a lot, but I think with Japan we had like we were in the 50s probably. So here's a British light carrier being built. Eh, I mean it's fine. I don't know. I think I would just rather have one big carrier than like a couple of light carriers. I might be there's the war. I mean, I might be we're going to take prestige and lower tension, but I might be wrong on my doctrine. Like it might be better to spread your carriers out that way there's more targets to hit. I don't know. We could consider designing a light carrier just to see what it's like, I guess. Um, we're already pretty good on carrier groups. We have four of them with fairly, good carriers. The Europas are excellent. The Hindenburgs, they've had their day in the sun, but they are starting to fall behind. They're only 66 aircraft, but we're going to hang on to them, not getting rid of them in the unless something like really drastic happens. We're going to give up a prestige that we just earned in order to be nice to people, I guess. Here's a privately built helicopter. So this is our current one here. So we lose speed, we lose range, we lose stats, and nope, we're going to keep the one we got, especially because it's average reliability already. So the Austrians have lost a light carrier. They lost a light cruiser. I just want to look at like what kind of light carriers Austria has. Like what do they got here? Here it is. So it was like, yeah, it was probably a prop. Like it's got a picture of a jet on here, but it's also only 13,000 tons with 30 aircraft. So 30 is a lot for like a light carrier. That's about max, I think. So I'm wondering if it was like a prop driven carrier, like, prop plane carrier. And when I say prop plane, I mean propeller, not jet. Yeah, we'll take another Hamburg Express. Don't mind if we do. Here's a chance to gain some tension. We'll just go for like the general tension instead of double because we don't gain anything. We don't get budget or anything. So we'll just go for, let's see. The Italians lost a light cruiser. And then they exchanged some corvettes and destroyers back and forth. All right, we're close to this first wave of destroyers being rebuilt, which will be nice. They're still capable. I mean, they're old. They're older, but they're still capable. They've got heavy missiles. They've got a helicopter. We want better 7-inch guns. Nah, we never like we don't have any use for 7-inch guns. Nothing in our fleets use those. Back when we were designing not even heavy cruisers, like we went with like 8, 9, 10-inch guns, I think, on our heavy cruisers. Okay, our budget is getting sorted out. We have a nice wave of destroyers being finished, so we're gonna rebuild a few more. Just get like a 1 month advantage on that at the expense of hitting our treasury, our savings account. Oh, nice. We have improved chances of knocking stuff down with CWIS. And these are kind of old too, but we're not going to stress out too much about it. Rebuild a few more destroyers. It is a lot easier than just building a whole new destroyers. And Italy lost a light cruiser. I mean, them in Austria, they're just like cartoon nemesis. They're just always hammering each other. That's kind of weird. Austria-Hungary has no battle cruisers in service, and yet it still says they have 45,000 tons on that. A little bit weird. And the U.S. is building battle cruisers. What are they doing? Let's see, they're building some big ones, 65,000, basically 66,000 tons. Yeah, those are big boy battle cruisers. All right, we're starting to finish the reconstruction on our carriers. Here it is. Here's the battle cruiser. This is the big one here. Jeez Louise. It's 32 knots, which is pretty scary. It's got 16-inch guns, which are also scary. It's got 20 SSMs. So doesn't have much air defense. Like it's got a couple of heavy SAMs and some light AA and stuff, but potentially you could kill it with a yes, a new heavy fighter. Potentially you could kill it with like a airstrike. So we're gonna go for maneuverability, and we're gonna go for speed on these heavy jets. All right, so Austria lost a AV, so a helicopter carrier. All right, our budget's back up to the good place. So we're gonna go ahead and put these cruisers on foreign station, which will let us rebuild a couple more. We're just kind of mixing, like let's do all these destroyers. Like we do some destroyers, we do some cruisers, so that if a war, like if we had the event where it's like a ship is blown up in port or someone gets assassinated, and we suddenly go to war with France, not all of our destroyers are in refit, and not all of our cruisers are in refit at the same time. Okay. So these will go back onto foreign station, and that'll let us rebuild the last of the Danzigs. These are 10-month rebuilds, so we could potentially squeeze them in there before a war. All right, nice. We've got the destroyers being rebuilt. We're going to probably rebuild the 1964s pretty soon. Funny enough, I call them 1964 class, but they started being pumped out in 1967. Yep, so we might have to start rebuilding some of those as well. Luckily, those should just be basic engine rebuilds, so fairly quick. You know, we don't care about Spain. Spain's not bothering anyone. Let's just leave them alone. Poor Spain. There's the rumors of war in France. Right as our Deutschlands go obsolete. So let's probably just rebuild the machinery. We can give them CWIS. Reduce the medium AA. We're heavy on top side. So what if we go down one each? There we go. So we lose a little bit of our medium AA, but we gain CWIS, which is kind of cool. It's a 14-month rebuild. That's fine. We can do that for 14 months. Although, are these, Deutschlands really doing much for us? They do have a lot of heavy SSMs, and they are quite capable of soaking up hits. So, we'll go ahead and do it. I'm not sure. Like, it's just kind of like an iffy thing for me. Like, can we increase the speed? Sort of. How can we do it? Take away a little bit of the ammo. Yeah, that's fine. You don't use a lot of. It goes up to a 17-month rebuild, so it is more costly to do this, but that's fine. We could. Oh, we can't go to. Yeah, okay. Well, back down to a 14-month rebuild. We have a lot of tonnage left over, but we just don't have any topside or anything. These are fairly small battle where started their lives as battleships. But they are fairly small compared to the modern era. All right, yeah, we'll just do 14 months on that. If we go to war with France without them, it's not the end of the world. We tend to fight pretty near to the French coast anyhow, so they would be a little bit vulnerable. I don't know why we were getting the war with France thing, because the tension's only 8, but who knows? Who knows why they do what they do? Those silly French people. No offense to any silly French people we might have here. I guess we kind of need to rebuild the Hamburgs. Let's see. Probably just an engine replacement. 10 months. Yeah, that's probably fine. Yeah, we'll just do 10-month engine replacements. Here we go. Because they are 1965 and it's currently 1976. And we'll do a couple more. These are from groups 1 and 2, like squadrons 1 and 2. And we don't have currently a 1 and 2 squadron due to the Deutschlands being in rebuild. And we got rid of the number 2 squadron for the Deutschlands anyhow. So Austria has lost another light carrier. At some point here, when we have probably once we get these Hamburgs sorted out, I'm gonna. Oh, Kenya has been granted independence. But once we get these Hamburgs sorted out, probably I'm gonna look into. I'm just gonna like look at like what we could do with a light carrier. I rarely pass up a chance to get free prestige. All right, well, Morocco is independent now. Austria-Hungary lost a light cruiser. Italy lost a light cruiser. I was going to say it felt like Italy was getting the upper hand in that, but not so much anymore. All right, now that we're further away from war with France, we're going to go ahead and rebuild 4 of these Hamburgs at one time. It's only 10-month rebuild, so we should be okay. And we should have a wave. Oh, not quite. I was going to say I thought I'd have a wave of Hamburgs being finished soon, but it's a little ways out there. Yeah, we'll increase our cooperation with Japan. They've been sort of an ally. So here's the Russian light carrier being built, 27 aircraft. You know what? Maybe that light carrier we're looking at from Austria-Hungary, maybe it was a jet carrier because this is about the same tonnage right here. I think they probably, sorry, I think they probably saved weight by making it 27 knots because I think the Austria-Hungary one was as well. and they had like no armor on it. So that's conceivably a thing they could do with a light carrier. So we're gonna hit another turn. I think we'll have some more destroyers being finished here. So Italy lost a light carrier. I wonder what Italy's light carrier looked like. Unfortunately, we just lost our yellow status, like threat status with France, so we are at risk of having our budget cut now. Take a look at their light carrier real quick. Man, they've lost a lot of light carriers. So this was 13,300 tons, 26 knots. Yeah, looks like that's pretty standard for NPC nations, like a light carrier. It's like 13,000 tons, but slower. Essentially escort carriers. Yep, there we go. I knew that was going to happen. I called it. Man, they are ruthless, but at least our tensions are back up. So rebuild these Hamburgs now. It's going to put us in the red. Let's see, is Britain's not allied with anyone. That's fine. I don't care if we go to war with them. Our unrest is going up. I wonder if that's because we had a higher budget. Probably. So the budget going down is probably a good thing in the end. And once we get these rebuilds, like once the Deutschlands are done, in 7 months, our budget will fix itself, and we can start looking at some other stuff. Like we do need to rebuild our Z 1964s, but we can do that in like groups, like little waves of upgrades. Here's the USS Essex class, 85. So they have downsized. They went from 128 down to 85. Looks like they're going for just more carriers as opposed to bigger carriers. And then here's the Japanese heavy cruiser being built. 8 heavy SSMs. It's fast, 32 knots. Nice heavy cruiser, not bad. It's got armor on it. In this era, having like 5-inch armor is weirdly probably better than you would think, due to the fact that actually I don't know, missiles are flying around a lot, but 20 more destroyers. Um, Thing is, our unrest is going up, so we're actually going to take a prestige hit here, and we're going to cut our own budget willingly, back down to 40 prestige. But we are taking a willing budget hit there in order to fix our unrest situation. But I don't know. I weirdly enough, so ships nowadays are coming with like smaller and smaller guns, and less of them. So I thought like 5-inch armor, a little bit more effective than you might think in the modern era. But I don't know how good 5-inch armor is against missiles. That's the thing. So we've got better cruise speed. We've got much lower range, but 700 miles is excessive anyhow. Although that one there is even bigger. The stats go up and down. So this one actually has the best stats out of them all. It also has the lowest range. And it gains an extra medium anti-ship missile. So I think we're actually going to give up the extended range. 500 miles is enough, probably. We gain some speed, and we gain maneuverability, which is what we wanted, and we lose a little bit of toughness. But we lose toughness no matter what here. So we're going to go ahead and take that, the Arado. Let's see, Italy lost a helicopter carrier. And that's really about it in that war. A little bit jealous watching nations get to fight just one-on-one. We're not going to expose our technology, especially since we're trying to fix our unrest due to overspending. Let's see here. Ship's under construction. So it looks like we got a few months left. So let's, as much as I want to rebuild these 1964s, I do want to just look at like what a light carrier does, like what we could do with one. So for, let's see, 15,000 tons. Let's go up to like 16,000. It's slow. It's 27 knots. However, it does carry double light SAMs, which is kind of cool. But I want to see, I'm trying to figure out what the limit is on aircraft on a light carrier. 34. So I was correct. So you can do 34. We would want to like strip off some of these guns though. It's kind of dumb having those on there at all. We'll go CWIS. Lower the top side a little bit. Increase the radar, which helps add to top side. It adds to like your left hand number here, like it takes up more space, but it also increases your total limit, which is kind of cool. It's got no armor. It would need spacious accommodation, and then you'd have to increase the size by like a little bit more. No, it has to be under 16,000 tons. So how do they do it? Do they allow aluminum superstructure? No. So how do you fit, how does this work? The SAMs are kind of heavy, but only 350 tons actually. What do? Do you just lower the air capacity down to like 32? That kind of works. And then you just get rid of the guns entirely. I mean, that's sort of a thing. It's like max size for a carrier. But the thing is, so it's like 2,000 to build for 25 months. Basically, it's 50,000 to build. And what do you get? You essentially get 3 squadrons. So like 15 fighters and like 17 attack aircraft. And I don't even know if you need special squadrons on these things. We could increase the medium and the CWIS again. Take away the fire control position. It doesn't need it. It has no guns. But more than 6 CWIS, not effective. We could go up to like that. Yeah, but like, does fire control matter for your AA? I don't know. I don't actually know the answer to that one. So yeah, this is about the biggest light carrier we could build and still go 27 knots. Now, if we drop down to 26, you could squeeze on like one more aircraft, but it's not worth it. So this is why all the light carriers are like 27 knots and like 13,000 tons. This is why. It's only 25 months to build though. I think a new carrier is hmm. I think a new carrier is like 30, like 3 years essentially, and probably close to 4,000. So it's 50,000 to build. So let's save and finish. Let's look at what it costs to build a one of our Europas. Huh. It's not even on the list anymore, the Europa. But let's look at what it takes to build a Peter Strasser. Huh? Why don't we have the Europa on our list of stuff to build? It's very weird. We don't have the Deutschlands on here either. I wonder if it's because we upgraded. Yeah, I wonder if it's because we did an upgrade, so it's no longer like available. I don't know. But if we were to design a Europa, like a rough version of a Europa, I need to actually see the Europas to compare. But if we wanted to build like a just this, I'm not building one. But if we just like so they're 44,000 tons with 95 aircraft. You get rid of the armor. 95. They're 31 knots. I don't know how we managed that. Oh, that's probably how. You go with spacious. Yeah, it's essentially, huh? It's like double the cost. It's a 42 months at 3,000 a month, and that's before you even add on like CWiz and go through and like add all the AA and stuff. Yeah, so maybe it would just be efficient just to build like a couple of light carriers or something to fill in the gaps, but who knows? Anyhow, we're gonna save the game. Just experimental. It's we're approaching 45 minutes on this episode, so I'm gonna go ahead and call it here. Um, I am because today I only have one episode available for today, and this episode will come out tomorrow. So I do have stuff I have to do on the weekend. So I'm gonna go ahead and record another episode immediately to schedule for Saturday. So I'll see you in just a few minutes, and you'll see me tomorrow. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Appreciate you all. I'll see you next time, and sail safe.